Your habits shape your future faster than your dreams ever will. That one line can change how you see everything. You can sit around hoping for luck. You can dream about wealth. But if your daily actions don't match those dreams, they will never become real. The truth is simple. The money in your pocket, the opportunities in your life, the confidence in your voice, they are all a reflection of the habits you practice every single day. Here's the part most people ignore. Change does not take years. Change begins the moment you demand higher standards for yourself. When you stop making excuses and start building the right habits, the shift is immediate. You see yourself differently. You move differently. You choose differently. And that difference adds up until it transforms your life. The steps I'm about to share with you are not theories or fancy tricks. They are daily actions that ordinary people can start using right now. No waiting. No complicated systems. Just clear choices that build discipline, sharpen focus, and create results. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in the same cycle, this is your chance to break it. Pay attention, because these habits have the power to turn your entire direction around starting tonight. Number 1, reward yourself only after real results, not empty effort. One of the greatest mistakes people make is giving themselves rewards for effort instead of results. Effort is important, but if effort alone made people rich, almost everyone would already be wealthy. The truth is, it is not the motion that matters. It is the progress. It is not just about being busy. It is about being effective. You can spend all day working hard, yet if the work doesn't move you forward, you can end the day tired but still stuck in the same place. Wealth is built by results, not by empty effort. Think about it. How many people do you know who celebrate finishing a day's work? But if you ask them what truly moved their life forward that day, they hesitate. They can't point to anything concrete. That's because their energy was spent without direction. They rewarded themselves for showing up, but not for achieving something that mattered. If you want to get rich, if you want your life to change, you have to shift this habit. You have to stop rewarding yourself for just trying and start rewarding yourself when you actually create a result. This is not about being harsh or cruel to yourself. It's about being honest, because honesty is where growth begins. If you go to the gym and spend 30 minutes scrolling on your phone while you walk slowly on the treadmill, should you really reward yourself with a giant meal after? No, that's not training. That's pretending. The same applies to money. If you spend hours scrolling through online courses, making plans, and calling it research, but you never act, should you congratulate yourself? No, because in the end, there is no wealth in thinking, only in doing. When you reward empty effort, you train your brain to settle. You condition yourself to believe that showing up is enough. And that is why so many people work for years and never move an inch closer to financial independence. They confuse activity with achievement. They confuse hours spent with value created. You have to break this cycle if you want to create wealth. Reward comes when there is something real to show. Maybe you set a goal to save $500 this month. At the end of the month, if you actually have that money sitting in your account, reward yourself. That's a result. That is progress. That builds confidence. But if you only thought about saving or only managed to put aside $50, don't throw a party for yourself. Don't trick your mind into believing that partial effort is enough. Instead, hold yourself accountable. Ask yourself what you can do differently tomorrow so that the next time you hit the mark. That honesty is where discipline is born. This habit also builds respect for your own word. Think about it. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and then reward yourself without doing it, you weaken the trust you have in yourself. Your own word becomes cheap. You stop believing what you say. But when you only reward yourself after real results, your promises begin to carry weight. When you say, I will save $500, and then you do it, and then you allow yourself a small celebration, you prove to yourself that your word is law. That is how self-respect grows. And self-respect is the foundation of wealth. So, what does this look like in daily life? Start by setting clear, measurable goals. Do not say, I'll work harder this week. That's too vague. Say instead, I will make 10 sales calls today. Now you have a result to measure. If you make those calls and you put your full energy into them, you can reward yourself. If you don't, then you don't get the reward. This creates a clear connection in your mind between action and reward. That connection is what changes habits. You might be tempted to say, but I worked hard. I tried. Yes, but trying does not pay the bills. Results do. You can spend the whole day in effort, but if nothing moved forward, then your effort is not complete. You must finish the cycle. Effort without result is only half the job. Effort with result is the whole job, and the whole job is what makes you rich. The world pays for results. Employers do not reward employees for how many hours they sat at the desk. They reward them for what they produced. Clients do not pay service providers for effort. They pay for the outcome. And your own life does not grow from effort alone. It grows from the results you create. Wealth belongs to those who understand this rule and live by it daily. It takes discipline to follow this, because your emotions will tell you, I tried, I deserve something. But discipline is stronger than emotion. Discipline tells you, not yet. Wait until the result is real. And when you hold the line, when you demand proof from yourself, you begin to transform. Your standards rise. Suddenly you don't settle for good try. You settle for achievement. You settle for actual money in the account, actual weight lost, actual goals completed. That mindset shift is priceless. There is also another powerful benefit: delayed gratification. When you only reward yourself after results, you train your mind to delay pleasure until the job is done. This habit separates the rich from the poor. The poor reward themselves quickly buying things on credit, celebrating small effort, looking for immediate comfort. The rich delay gratification. They build first, then they enjoy. They plant the seed, they nurture it, and they harvest later. That discipline compounds into wealth over time. But make sure your rewards are meaningful. If you hit your savings goal, don't destroy it by spending the entire reward. Give yourself something small but significant. Maybe a dinner, maybe a new book. Something that reminds you that success brings joy, but also keeps you moving forward. Rewards should reinforce progress, not undo it. Now, some people might say, but isn't effort valuable? Of course, at Island, effort is where it begins, but effort is not the end. You cannot eat effort. You cannot invest effort. You cannot spend effort. Only results can do that. Effort is like preparing the ground, but the result is the fruit. If you keep rewarding the preparation and never require the fruit, you will never eat. That is the harsh truth. Every time you think of rewarding yourself, pause and ask, did I create a real result today? Did I move closer to financial freedom in a way I can measure? If the answer is yes, then celebrate. If the answer is no, then hold the celebration back. This is how you toughen your mind. This is how you rewire your brain to seek results instead of excuses. Imagine if you live this way for the next year. Imagine if every single day you demanded a real result before you gave yourself a reward. Think about the level of focus you would gain. Think about the amount of progress you would make. Most people waste half their life celebrating effort. You could get 10 times further by celebrating only results. That is how you build wealth faster than most people can understand. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your emotions will resist, but discomfort is the price of growth. You cannot change by staying comfortable. You change by doing what most people will not do. And most people will not hold themselves accountable. They will not withhold a reward until results show up. They want to feel good now. But you, if you want to be rich, must want to be right more than you want to be comfortable. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Tell yourself the truth. Reward only what deserves reward. If you put this into practice, you will not only build wealth, you will build character. And character will keep the wealth once you have it. Because anyone can get lucky once, but only those with discipline can stay successful. So, make a decision tonight. No more rewarding empty effort. No more giving yourself credit for half-done jobs. From now on, you only celebrate when the numbers are real, when the progress is visible, when the job is complete. That simple habit will transform you. It will make your life sharper, your goals clearer, your success inevitable. When you demand results before rewards, you change the wiring of your life. You stop living by excuses. You stop living by feelings. You start living by standards. And that is how you get rich, not by chance, not by accident, but by design. Number 2, replace negative self-talk today with bold, winning words. Most people never realize how much damage they do to themselves with the words they speak inside their own head. You cannot see those words, you cannot hear them out loud, but they shape your decisions. They control your confidence. They set the limits for your future. Every time you tell yourself you are not good enough, you weaken your drive. Every time you whisper in your mind that you will fail, you shrink your chances of success before you even start. The truth is, the way you talk to yourself decides how far you will go in life. If you want to be rich, if you want to create freedom, you must stop the pattern of negative self-talk and replace it with strong, bold, winning words that push you forward instead of holding you back. Negative self-talk has many faces. It can be quiet and sneaky, like when you think, "I don't think I can do this." It can also be loud and brutal, like when you call yourself lazy or stupid. Both are dangerous. Both poison your energy and make it harder to take action. Most people are not beaten by the outside world. They are beaten by the voice inside their own mind. You cannot escape that voice because it follows you everywhere. The only solution is to retrain it, redirect it, and teach it to serve you instead of destroy you. Words create emotions. If you wake up and say to yourself, "Today is going to be hard," your body already feels heavy. Your mind already prepares for struggle. But if you wake up and say, "Today is my chance to win," suddenly your body feels stronger, your eyes open wider, and you find energy you didn't know you had. That is not magic. That is the power of psychology. Your words build the pictures in your mind, and those pictures shape the actions you take. One of the biggest reasons people stay broke is because they keep telling themselves they will always be broke. They say, "Money never stays with me." They say, "I can't save." They say, "I'll never be rich." And with those words, they set up walls around themselves. The brain starts to believe what it hears over and over again, even if it's a lie. If you feed it weakness, it will act weak. If you feed it strength, it will act strong. That is why replacing negative self-talk is not optional. It is the foundation for every other habit of success. Start by becoming aware. Catch yourself in the act. Notice when you are speaking badly to yourself. Notice the exact phrases you repeat. Write them down. Because until you see the pattern, you cannot break it. Then, every time you catch a negative phrase, stop it immediately and switch it with a winning phrase. For example, if your mind says, "I can't do this," respond with, "I am learning and I will figure it out." If your mind says, "I always fail," answer with, "Every step brings me closer to success." If your mind says, "I'll never have money," replace it with, "I am building wealth, one smart choice at a time." At first, this feels unnatural. You might even feel silly talking to yourself in bold words. But remember, you have already been talking to yourself for years, only in a way that hurts you. Changing the language is not silly. Staying trapped in the same cycle is silly. You cannot let comfort keep you in chains. The first time you say powerful words, you might not believe them. That is fine. Keep repeating them until they sink into your mind. Belief grows through repetition. Just like negative talk has poisoned you over time, positive talk will strengthen you over time. You must also make the words specific. Do not just say, "I am successful." That is too vague. Say instead, "I am building a profitable business," or "I am saving $10,000," or "I am learning skills that make me valuable." Specific words create focus. General words fade quickly. The more specific you are, the more your brain can lock onto the target. And don't just keep these words silent in your head. Speak them out loud. Use your voice. When you hear yourself, the impact multiplies. Look in the mirror and speak those words with conviction. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and say them with strength. The tone of your voice matters. Weak tone creates weak feelings. Strong tone creates strong feelings. That simple practice of using your own voice to program your mind can completely change your day. Negative self-talk often comes from the past. Maybe your parents told you that you would never amount to much. Maybe teachers told you that you were not smart. Maybe friends laughed at your dreams. Those voices left marks, and now you repeat them without even noticing. But remember, your past does not decide your future. Only your choices today do. You have the power to rewrite the script. You do not have to carry the old voice forever. You can create a new voice, a new story, a new belief. The habit of replacing negative words with bold ones also builds resilience. Life will test you. You will face rejection, setbacks, and failures. In those moments, the natural reaction is to say, "I am not good enough." But if you have trained your mind with bold words, you will respond differently. You will say, "This is temporary. I am strong. I am capable. I will keep moving." That mental strength is what separates those who quit from those who eventually win. Some people believe they need motivation from others to succeed. They wait for someone to encourage them, to push them, to remind them of their value. That is weakness. You cannot wait for outside encouragement. You must learn to generate it inside yourself. When you replace negative talk with winning words, you become your own motivator. You become your own coach. You create fuel every day without depending on anyone else. That independence is priceless. Wealth is not just numbers in a bank account. It is also the strength of your character. Rich people are not just financially wealthy. They are mentally strong. They refuse to let self-doubt destroy them. They speak to themselves with conviction. They command their mind instead of letting it bully them. If you want to join that group, you must learn this skill. Notice the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. The ones who succeed say, "I will find a way." The ones who stay stuck say, "It's too hard." The successful say, "I will keep trying until I figure it out." The unsuccessful say, "I always fail. Why bother?" The words shape the future. Every time you open your mouth, you are either building or destroying your future. And when those words happen inside your own head, the impact is even stronger because they guide every action you take. Think of how many opportunities you have missed because of negative self-talk. Maybe you wanted to start a business but told yourself, "I'm not smart enough." Maybe you wanted to invest but told yourself, "I'll probably lose everything." Maybe you wanted to talk to a successful person but told yourself, "They won't care about me." Those thoughts cost you progress. They cost you growth. They cost you money. And they will keep costing you until you change them. The good news is, the change can start today. You do not need special tools. You do not need a new book. You only need awareness and discipline. When the negative thought comes, stop it. Replace it immediately with a bold word. Repeat the bold word until it feels real. Keep doing this day after day until the negative thoughts lose their power. It is not instant, but it is effective. Imagine 1 year from now. After training yourself daily in this habit, your mind will no longer be your enemy. It will be your strongest ally. You will walk into rooms with confidence. You will face challenges with energy. You will look at money not with fear, but with excitement. Because your inner words will no longer be whispers of weakness, but commands of strength. Do not underestimate this. Wealth begins in the mind. Action follows belief, and belief is shaped by words. If your words are weak, your actions will be weak. If your words are strong, your actions will be strong. Replacing negative self-talk with bold winning words is not a small exercise. It is the foundation of every success you will ever create. You deserve to live with power. You deserve to break free from the voice that holds you back. You deserve to speak to yourself like a champion, because that is the only way to become one. Starting today, every time you hear doubt, answer with confidence. Every time you hear fear, answer with courage. Every time you hear defeat, answer with victory. Keep doing this until the old voice disappears. Keep doing this until the new voice becomes your natural state. That is the path to wealth, to freedom, to real success. Number 3, teach your brain tonight to love saving more than spending. Most people were never taught how to enjoy saving money. They were trained from childhood to enjoy spending. Think about it. Every advertisement, every store, Every platform online pushes you toward buying. The excitement is built around spending, not saving. You buy something new and you get a temporary rush. That feeling fades quickly, but your brain remembers the spark, so it keeps pulling you back to spend again. Saving, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't give you fireworks right away, but if you train your brain correctly, saving can become more satisfying than any quick purchase, because it builds security, control, and freedom. The challenge is retraining the reward system in your mind. Right now, spending gives you an instant sense of pleasure, while saving feels like a sacrifice. To become wealthy, you must reverse that. You must make saving feel like winning. You must connect saving with power, progress, and pride. That's how your brain learns to love saving more than spending. Start with awareness. Notice how you feel when you save $1. Most people feel nothing. Now notice how you feel when you spend on something you don't need. You feel a brief high, then guilt or emptiness. That's your mind reacting to old conditioning. To change this, you have to start attaching strong emotions to saving. Each time you put money aside, pause for a moment and tell yourself, this is proof I am in control. This is proof I am building my future. Celebrate the act of saving, not by spending, but by recognizing the strength it takes to hold back. That recognition rewires your brain over time. People often say, I'll start saving when I earn more. That's a lie we tell ourselves. The truth is, if you can't save when you have a little, you won't save when you have a lot. Saving is not about the amount. It's about the habit. When you teach your brain to feel joy every time money stays in your pocket, the amount doesn't matter. The behavior matters. And once the behavior becomes natural, larger amounts will follow. One way to train this habit is by setting small, clear saving goals. For example, decide that every day you will set aside $5. Not someday, not when it's easy, but today. Every time you move that money into your savings, focus on the pride of discipline. Think about how most people spend mindlessly while you are building strength. That small practice builds self-respect, and self-respect is fuel for the mind. As your brain begins to link saving with progress, the act itself becomes addictive. Another method is visual tracking. Create a simple chart or use an app where you can see your savings grow. Watching the numbers rise is powerful. It gives your brain a clear picture of progress. When you see your savings account increase, even by small amounts, your brain starts to associate saving with achievement. That visible progress is more satisfying than any short-lived purchase. You must also change the way you think about spending. Instead of asking, can I afford this? Train yourself to ask, do I want this more than I want freedom? Because every time you spend, you trade a piece of your freedom. Every unnecessary item you buy delays your independence. But every dollar you save brings you closer to control of your life. That shift in perspective transforms how you make decisions. Saving becomes even more powerful when you connect it to a bigger vision. Do not just save for the sake of saving. Save with purpose. Maybe it's for financial independence. Maybe it's for investing in your own end. Maybe it's for creating a safety net that makes you feel unshakable. When you know why you are saving, the act takes on deeper meaning. Suddenly, it's not about what you are missing by not spending. It's about what you are gaining by building. You can also strengthen this habit by rewarding yourself with progress, not consumption. For example, when you hit a certain savings milestone, don't blow it all a purchase. Instead, celebrate in a way that reinforces your discipline. Share your progress with someone who respects financial growth. Reflect on how far you've come. Allow yourself a small treat that doesn't destroy the habit, like a nice meal or a day of rest. The key is to tie the reward to growth. The truth is, saving makes you powerful because it builds options. When you have money set aside, you are not forced to take every job. You are not forced to say yes to bad deals. You are not trapped in unhealthy situations. That freedom is worth more than any temporary purchase. When you remind yourself of this truth every time you save, the action becomes exciting. You begin to see each saved dollar as a brick in the foundation of your freedom. Another powerful exercise is to calculate the cost of spending in terms of time. For example, if you make $20 an hour and you are about to buy something for $100, remind yourself that this costs 5 hours of your life. Is it worth it? Most of the time, the answer is no. This shifts your brain away from instant pleasure and toward long-term value. On the other hand, when you save that $100, you are buying back 5 hours of future freedom. That thought alone can make saving feel far more rewarding than spending. Social influence also matters. Many people spend because they are comparing themselves to others. They buy clothes,
gadgets, or experiences just to keep up. To retrain your brain, you must stop competing with others and start competing with yourself. Ask yourself, how much can I grow my savings this month compared to last month? That shift of competition from external to internal creates a healthier drive. Instead of impressing strangers, you are impressing yourself. And that pride lasts longer than any purchase. You must also remove the triggers that make spending too easy. If you are constantly surrounded by temptations, your brain will crave spending more. Delete unnecessary shopping apps. Avoid wandering into stores when you don't need anything. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Every temptation avoided is a chance to strengthen your saving habit. When you make saving the easiest option, your brain adapts quickly. The journey of loving saving more than spending also requires patience. At first, you might not feel the same rush as buying something new, but over time, the feeling of security, the sense of control, and the pride and discipline will grow stronger. The day will come when looking at your savings balance will bring more excitement than holding a new item in your hand. That is when you know the habit has become natural. Think about the people you admire who are wealthy. They did not reach that point by constantly spending everything they had. They built discipline, they trained their brains, and they found joy in saving and investing. You can do the same. You do not need to deny yourself happiness. You need to redefine what happiness is. True happiness comes from freedom, not from clutter. If you want to change your life, start tonight. Teach your brain to celebrate saving. Make it an event. Every time you put money aside, smile, breathe deeply, and remind yourself that you are getting stronger. Keep repeating this until saving feels like success. When you rewire your brain to feel joy and discipline, wealth becomes inevitable. Number 4. Save at least half your income today with discipline. Most people dream of being rich, but very few are willing to build the level of discipline required to get there. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They want the wealth without the responsibility. But here's the reality. Money grows for those who control it, and it disappears for those who let it control them. Saving half of your income may sound extreme, but it is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make for your future. It forces you to shift your mindset. It forces you to sharpen your priorities. And it forces you to take charge of your financial life in a way most people never will. The average person spends nearly everything they make. Their paycheck arrives, and before the week ends, most of it is gone. Bills, entertainment, eating out, impulse purchases, and endless small leaks drain their account. They tell themselves, "I'll save whatever is left," but nothing is left. And that cycle repeats month after month until years are wasted. You cannot get ahead if you save what's left. You must save first, and you must save big. That's why aiming for half is not only possible, it is transformative. When you commit to saving half, something inside you changes. Suddenly you cannot afford to waste money on meaningless purchases. You begin to see every expense with sharper eyes. You ask yourself, do I really need this? And most of the time, the answer is no. You realize that most spending comes from habit, not necessity. You realize how much you've been trained to waste without thinking. Saving half breaks that autopilot and puts you back in control. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about structure. It is about setting rules for yourself that protect you from your own impulses. If you want to save half, you must make it automatic. As soon as money arrives, move half into a separate account. Do not wait until the end of the month. Do not rely on willpower. Willpower fades, systems last. When you treat saving as a non-negotiable, you stop making excuses. You stop telling yourself, "I'll save later." You save now before you spend anything else. The reason saving half is so powerful is because it accelerates your progress. If you earn a modest income and only save 10%, it will take years to build anything meaningful. But if you save half, you build wealth 5 times faster. You cut the timeline dramatically. You also give yourself peace of mind, because you always know you have a strong cushion. Stress decreases, confidence increases, and opportunities open up. Many people argue, "I can't save half. I don't earn enough." But that's not always true. In many cases, the problem is not income, but lifestyle. People inflate their lifestyle to match their earnings, and then they feel trapped. But if you lower your lifestyle and increase your discipline, saving half becomes possible. It may mean smaller housing, fewer luxuries, less eating at, but the trade-off is freedom. Most people would rather look rich today and stay broke tomorrow. The wise person sacrifices appearances today to secure wealth tomorrow. Imagine how powerful you would feel if every paycheck you received, half of it immediately became yours to keep. Not half going out to bills, not half disappearing into entertainment, but half building your future. Every month your account would grow larger. Every month your confidence would rise. Every month you would feel stronger, because you are not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. You are living with control. Discipline in saving also sharpens your decision-making. When you know half your income is untouchable, you start thinking carefully about how to use the other half. You cut away the waste. You prioritize the essentials. You start to live lean, but with purpose. And living lean builds character. It teaches you how to maximize resources. It teaches you how to stretch, how to plan, and how to build resilience. Those qualities not only make you rich financially, they make you rich in wisdom. Another important benefit of saving half is flexibility. When opportunities appear, most people cannot take them because they have no say. They see an investment, a business idea, or a chance to grow, but they are stuck. They have no capital. But the person who saves half always has resources available. They can act quickly. They can say yes, yes. Opportunities others must decline. Wealth is not only about having money. It's about having options. Saving half gives you options. It also changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who barely gets by. You start seeing yourself as someone who builds wealth. That identity shift is powerful. It influences every decision you make. When you identify as a builder, you no longer tolerate financial chaos. You no longer accept excuses. You hold yourself to a higher standard. And once that identity locks in, saving half is no longer a struggle. It becomes part of who you are. To make this work, you must be ruthless about eliminating unnecessary expenses. Audit your spending. Look at where your money actually goes. You may be shocked by how much disappears on small habits, coffee, snacks, streaming, subscriptions, impulse buy. These small leaks add up to thousands over time. Plug the leaks. Redirect that money to savings. Every dollar wasted is a dollar stolen from your fear. You must also avoid comparing yourself to others. Many people spend because they are competing with neighbors, friends, or strangers online. They want to too. They are successful by showing off material things. That's a losing game. Stop measuring your life by what others buy. Measure it by how much freedom you are building. True wealth is quiet. It does not need to be advertised. The more you save, the more powerful you become, even if no one else notices. Saving half of your income requires sacrifice, but sacrifice is the price of greatness. You cannot expect extraordinary results, ordinary habits. If you live like everyone else, you will stay like everyone else. But if you save half while others waste, you will rise while others sink. Discipline separates the rich from the broke. The question is not, can I do it? The question is, am I willing to? Start small if you must, but start now. If half feels impossible today, start with 20%. Build the muscle. Once it feels natural, raise it to 30, then 40, then 50. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Each step forward strengthens your discipline. Each step forward builds momentum. And once you reach the level of saving half, you will never want to go back. Imagine 5 years from now, living with this discipline. Your savings account would be stacked. Your investments would be growing. You would have peace, options, and freedom that most people never experience. While others complain about money, you would be in control of it. While others panic over bills, you would sleep soundly. While others are trapped by debt, you would be free to choose your own path. That is the reward of saving half. So commit to it. Not tomorrow, today. Make the decision that from this moment forward, half of what you earn belongs to your future. Treat it as untouchable. Protect it with discipline. Use the rest to live simply, but live with pride, knowing you are doing what most people refuse to do. Discipline is not easy, but neither is regret. Choose the path that builds strength, freedom, and wealth. Saving half your income may be hard at first, but it is the habit that will separate you from the crowd. And one day, when others are still struggling, you will be living proof of the power of discipline.
Number 5, reach out to 3 new people today for opportunities. Opportunities don't appear out of nowhere. They come from people. Every job, Every deal, every new path forward is connected to another human being. Too many people wait in silence, hoping something will come their way. They keep their heads down, working, but never reaching out. And then they wonder why nothing changes. If you want wealth, if you want progress, you must go out and create opportunities by connecting with others. A simple but powerful rule is to reach out to 3 new people today. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. That one step can open doors that staying silent will never unlock. Think about how life works. Every skill you have, every resource you own, every idea you carry can only grow when it interacts with someone else. You may have talent, but talent hidden in isolation goes nowhere. You may have knowledge, but knowledge locked away helps no one. Wealth comes from exchanging value, and that exchange requires people. If you are serious about success, you must master the art of building connection. When I say reach out, I don't mean sending empty greetings or random messages. I mean reaching out with intention. Reach out to people who inspire you, people who are moving forward, people who might see value in what you can offer. Don't just look for what they can give you. Look for ways you can add to their lives. That's how real connections are built. The first obstacle most people face is fear. They think, why would this person talk to me? What if they ignore me? What if they say no? That fear keeps them silent, and silence keeps them stuck. But here's the truth. Rejection won't kill you. Being ignored won't end your life. But staying invisible will keep you broke. You don't need everyone to respond. You just need a few right people to respond. One good connection can change everything. Start small. Pick 3 names today. They could be people in your industry, potential mentors, potential clients, or even someone you admire from a distance. Write a clear and respectful message. Introduce yourself briefly. Share what you are working on. Express genuine interest in them. Don't beg. Don't overwhelm. Just be real, be direct, and offer a reason to connect. Do this 3 times today, and you've planted 3 seeds. Not every seed grows, but that's fine. Some people won't reply. Some will give a short answer, but some will open the door. And when one door opens, it can lead to many more. That's how momentum begins. A single introduction can lead to partnerships, investments, friendships, and opportunities you never imagined. But none of that happens you make the move. Too many people underestimate the power of networking because they expect instant results. They send one message, don't get a reply, and give up. That's not how it works. The real power comes from consistency. If you reach out to 3 people every day for a month, that's 90 people. If you keep going for a year, that's over 1,000. Do you think out of 1,000 attempts, not a single valuable connection will appear? Of course it will, but only for the one who keeps going. There's also a deeper benefit to this habit. Reaching out daily builds confidence. Each time you take the step, you teach yourself that you are not afraid to connect. You stop hiding. You stop waiting. You become someone who acts instead of someone who hesitates. That shift in identity is priceless. It spills into every other area of your life. When you build the courage to speak up, you stop living small. Reaching out also forces you to how you present yourself. You learn how to express your value clearly. You learn how to capture attention quickly. You learn how to listen and respond to others. These communication skills become habits that help you for the rest of your life. People who master communication multiply their opportunities because they can connect with anyone, anywhere. Remember, wealth is not built in isolation. It is built in network. Every successful you know is connected to others who open doors for them. They didn't sit quietly hoping for luck. They reached out, they asked, they introduced themselves, they built bridges. That's what you must do if you want to rise. You may think, but I don't know anyone important. That's fine. Start where you are. Reach out to people at your level who are also moving forward. Build a circle of ambitious people. Grow together. Then, as your network expands, you'll find yourself connected to people you once thought were unreachable. Success is not about knowing everyone at once. It's about building one connection at a time, until the web becomes strong. The key is to approach this with discipline. Don't wait for motivation. Don't say you'll do it when you feel ready. Do it daily, no matter what. Even on days when you're tired,
even on days when you doubt yourself. Send those 3 messages. Make those 3 calls. Introduce yourself to those 3 people. That consistency compounds over time. And don't forget to follow up. 1 message is enough. If someone responds, continue the conversation. Build the relationship. Offer value before asking for anything. Share ideas. Share resources. Share encouragement. People remember those who contribute. If you want opportunities, be the kind of person others want to keep close. Some of the best opportunities in life don't come from formal applications or advertisements. They come from conversation. They come from someone saying, I know a person who could help you, or I have a project you'd be perfect for. Those moments only happen when you are in the thickle. And to get into the circle, you must reach out. It's important to push yourself outside your comfort zone. Reaching out to strangers feels uncomfortable at first, but comfort is the enemy of growth. If you only talk to people you already know, you will lay where you are. If you challenge yourself to expand daily, you will outgrow your environment. That's how leaders are. You may be thinking this takes too much effort, but ask yourself, what's harder, sending 3 messages today, or living the same life for the next 10 years with no progress? What's more painful, facing a few rejections, or watching opportunities pass you by because you were too afraid to act? The answer is obvious. The short-term discomfort is nothing compared to the long-term reward. Imagine where you would be 1 year from now if you started today. 3 people per day is over 1,000 people in a year. Out of those, some will become allies, some will become partners, some will become clients, some will become friends. You lift you higher, and all of it begins with a single choice: to reach out today. Don't wait for confidence to come first. Confidence grows from action. Don't wait for the perfect words. Start with what you have. Refine as you go. Don't wait for others to find you. Take responsibility and go find them. The world is filled with people who have what you need, and who need what you have. But nothing will happen until you take that first. So today, right now, decide that you will reach out to 3 people. Not 1, not someday. 3 today. Send the message, make the call, walk up, and introduce yourself. Do it with courage. Do it with respect. Do it with honesty. And then repeat it again tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. This simple habit will transform your future faster than almost anything else. Because when you open doors, you open your life. And the more doors you open, the richer your life becomes.
Number 6, start a small side hustle tonight, no matter how basic. Most people spend their evenings scrolling, watching, or waiting for life to change. But nothing changes until they decide to create. The fastest way to build momentum is to start something of your own, no matter how small, no matter how simple. A side hustle is not just about extra cash. It is about independence. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of generating income outside of a paycheck. It is about shifting your mindset from consumer to creator. That is why tonight is the right time to begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, but tonight. Starting a side hustle does not require perfect conditions. You don't need a huge amount of money. You don't need years of planning. What you need is initiative. What you need is the courage to take a small step and learn by doing. Most people never begin because they want it to be big from the start. They wait until they feel ready, but readiness never comes. The truth is, you learn by starting, not by waiting. Think of how much time slips through your hands every evening. Hours that could be spent building something meaningful are wasted in distraction. If you redirected even a fraction of that time into a side hustle, your life would change. You could use those hours to offer a skill, sell a product, create content, or provide a service. It doesn't matter how basic it is. What matters is that it begins. Once it begins, it can grow. A side hustle builds confidence in a way no job ever can. When you earn your first dollar on your own, something shifts inside you. You realize that you are not limited to what someone else decides to pay you. You realize that your value can create income directly. That experience is liberating. It shows you that you are not powerless. You can design opportunities instead of waiting for them. It also creates resilience. Jobs can be lost. Companies can fail. But a skill or hustle you own will always remain with you. It becomes your safety net.
It becomes your backup plan. It becomes your foundation for wealth. Even if it starts with only a few dollars a week, those dollars represent security and growth. They prove that you are taking control of your life instead of letting circumstances control you. The beauty of a side hustle is that it does not need to be complicated. Maybe you write online, tutor students, design graphics, sell items on a marketplace, or drive people for a service. Maybe you cook meals, teach lessons, or offer help in areas you know well. The possibilities are endless. What matters is action, not perfection. Too many people kill their dreams by overthinking. They imagine every problem, every risk, every obstacle, and in the process, they never move. But if you take action, you gain real experience. And experience teaches you more than planning ever will. Discipline is required, because after a long day of work, it is tempting to relax and put it off. But that is the trap. Comfort will always tempt you. Success demands that you push past it. Even if you only dedicate 1 hour each night, that hour compounds. 1 hour each night is 7 hours a week. Over a month, that's nearly 30 hours. Over a year, that's hundreds of hours invested into building something new. That can change everything. Another powerful aspect of starting small is that failure becomes your teacher. When the stakes are low, mistakes are cheap. You learn without risking everything. Every challenge you face sharpens your thinking. Every setback forces you to adapt. This is how entrepreneurs are made. Not by theory, but by action. A small hustle gives you the training ground to develop those skills while still maintaining your stability. The money earned from a side hustle is different from job income. Job income is expected. It feels normal. Hustle income is created. It feels special. Even if it's only $10, it has more weight because you produced it directly. That feeling motivates you to do more. It builds momentum, and momentum is what creates transformation. You must also resist the urge to compare your beginning to someone else's myth. Too many people give up because they look at established businesses and feel small. They forget that every large business began as a small hustle. Amazon started with one man shipping books from a garage. Countless companies began with a single product, a single client, a single sale. Do not underestimate the power of small beginnings. They are the roots that grow into strong trees. It is also important to treat your side hustle with respect. Even if it is basic, take it seriously. Show up consistently. Deliver quality. Build trust with every person you serve. Over time, those small actions compound into reputation. And reputation is currency. People remember those who are dependable, and that memory creates opportunities. One of the greatest benefits of a side hustle is the mindset it develops. When you start creating income independently, you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Owners see opportunities where others see problems. Owners think about growth, value, and service. That shift in perspective is life-changing. It prepares you for bigger opportunities ahead. Some people might say, I don't know what hustle to start, but the truth is, you do. Think about your skills. Think of what people ask you for help with. Think about problems you can solve. Your side hustle doesn't need to be unique. It only needs to be useful. Pick something simple and begin. The clarity comes from action, not from waiting. If fear holds you back, remember this: the cost of not starting is far greater than the cost of failure. If you never start, you will stay exactly as you are. Years will pass, and nothing will change. But if you start, even imperfectly, you open the possibility of growth, and growth is worth the risk. Imagine what would happen if you committed to building a side hustle for just 1 year. Imagine the skills you would learn, the people you would meet, the money you'd earn. Even if it remained small, it would still bring progress, and progress is everything. Progress builds confidence, and confidence fuels action. Do not underestimate the power of tonight. The choice you make right now could shape the next decade of your life. You don't need permission. You don't need everything figured out. You only need to start. Open your laptop, write down your idea, post your first service, make your first call, take your first. The momentum will build as you begin. Wealth is built by those who take action when others hesitate. While most people waste their evenings, You have the chance to invest yours. While they complain about money, you can create it. While they stay stuck, you can grow. It all begins with one small hustle. And if you keep building, that small hustle can become something that changes your life forever. So tonight, make the decision. Start with what you have. Use your skills, your time, your effort. Create value for someone. Earn your first dollar outside your job. Prove to yourself that you can. That small step may look basic, but it is the seed of freedom. And once you plant it, nothing will ever be the same.
Number 7, commit to daily learning and apply one new strategy. Every person who reaches wealth understands one thing very clearly. You cannot grow if you stop learning. Life keeps changing, markets keep shifting, opportunities keep moving, and the only way to stay ahead is to keep filling your mind with new knowledge and turning that knowledge into action. Too many people stop learning once school ends. They settle into routines, the same behaviors, and wonder why their lives look the same year after year. The truth is, if you want to rise above average, you must commit to daily learning and apply at least one new strategy every single day. Learning by itself is powerful, but learning without application is wasted energy. People fill their heads with books, videos, and advice, yet they never test it in real life. They stay in the comfort of theory and never gain the wisdom of practice. Knowledge becomes valuable only when it changes your actions. That is why the habit of not just learning but applying one new strategy each day can transform your life faster than almost anything else. Think of how quickly you can advance if every day you expose your mind to something new and then put it to work. One day you read about a sales technique, and that same day you test it on a call. Another day you learn about saving methods, and that night you adjust your budget. Another day you pick up a lesson about communication, and you apply it in a conversation. Each small application adds up. In a year, that's hundreds of strategies tested. Some will fail, some will work, but all will sharpen your thinking. That compounding effect is how you grow beyond the average person who keeps repeating the same week of life for decades. Daily learning requires intention. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to set aside time each day for it. Even 20 minutes can be enough if you are focused. Pick a book, a course, a podcast, or a mentor to listen to. Do not just consume random noise. Choose sources that push you toward your goals. Filter out the distractions and feed your mind with ideas that move you closer to wealth, discipline, and freedom. But do not stop at learning. The key is to extract one strategy each day and use it. If you read for an hour and never apply anything, you wasted the hour. If you read for 20 minutes and use one insight, you gain value. Application is where growth happens. And the beauty is, you don't have to wait. You can apply something the same day you learn it. That immediacy cements the lesson into your mind. When you commit to this habit, you build adaptability. Life will always throw surprises at you. Businesses change, economies shift, people move on. If you are stuck with old knowledge, you will fall behind. But if you are in the rhythm of daily learning, you can adapt quickly. You can use strategies, pivot directions, and keep moving forward while others are stuck. Adaptability is a survival skill, and daily learning makes it second nature. This habit also builds humility. When you decide to learn every day, you admit that you don't know everything. You accept that growth is never finished. Arrogance says, I already know enough. Discipline says, I can always learn more. That humility keeps you open to new ideas and prevents you from getting trapped in old ways of thinking. The most successful people in the world remain students, even at the top. Applying new strategies daily also strengthens your problem-solving ability. Each time you test an idea, you learn what works and what doesn't. You build a personal library of experiences. Over time, you become resourceful. Challenges that scare others no longer scare you, because you've trained yourself to experiment until something works. That confidence is priceless. Another powerful effect is momentum. When you learn and apply daily, you see progress constantly. Small wins start piling up. Maybe one new strategy increases your productivity. Another saves you money. Another improves your communication. Another grows your income. Each small improvement creates motivation to keep going. Before long, you are miles ahead of where you used to be. Some people worry that they don't have time to learn daily. But the truth is, you don't need hours. You can learn on the way to work. You can learn during a break. You can learn before bed. What matters is consistency, not duration.
Even 15 focused minutes can deliver a strategy you can apply that same day. The problem is not time. The problem is priority. If success is important to you, you will value time. Start looking at your life as a laboratory. Every day is a chance to test something new. Try a different approach with your finances. Try a different method in your conversations. Try a different way of organizing your day. Some experiments will fail, but failure itself teaches. And when something works, it becomes a new tool in your toolkit. Over time, your toolkit grows, and with it, your capacity to create wealth. Daily learning also expands your vision. The more you expose yourself to new knowledge, the more ideas you see. You start to recognize opportunities others miss. You begin connecting dots that others can't see. This is how innovation is born. Not from repeating old routines, but from constantly feeding your mind with fresh input and then testing it in the real world. You must also track what you apply. Keep a simple notebook or digital log. Each day, write down what you learned and what you applied. Review it weekly. This keeps you accountable and shows you how much progress you're making. Over months, you will look back and see a long list of actions taken, strategies tested, lessons learned. That record builds confidence and proves to you that you are growing consistently. The person who commits to daily learning and daily application becomes unstoppable. Most people stop learning after school. They stop testing new ideas. They live the same way year after year, stuck in patterns that bring the same results. But you can break free by choosing to remain a student for fief and a doer every day. That combination separates the rich from the average. Imagine where you would be 1 year from now if every single day you learned one thing and applied one thing. That's 365 new strategies tested. Out of those, dozens would stick. Transforming your finances, your mindset, your skills, your relationships. The compound effect would be enormous. You would look back and hardly recognize the old version of yourself. That is the power of this hit. So make the decision. Every day, feed your mind with something new. Every day, take one piece and put it into action. Do not let knowledge sit unused. Do not let ideas die in your head. Turn them into action, into habits, into results. This is how you build momentum. This is how you grow beyond average. This is how you create wealth that lasts. When you live this way, you will never fear the future, because you know you are always learning, always adapting, always improving. You will never feel stuck, because you know each day brings another opportunity to grow. And you will never run out of ideas, because you've built the discipline of feeding your mind daily. Commit to daily learning. Commit to daily application. Do it for a week, then a month, then a year, and watch how your life transforms. While others stay the same, you will rise. While others rely on luck, you will rely on growth. And growth is the surest path to wealth, freedom, and success. Number 8, speak confidently today and create opportunities through clear action. Confidence is one of the most valuable currencies you can carry, because people respond to it faster than they respond to almost anything else. A person who speaks with strength is trusted more than the one who whispers in doubt. Opportunities open for those who communicate clearly and take direct action. You can have all the skills, all the plans, and all the potential in the world. But if you cannot express yourself with confidence and back it with action, doors will stay closed. Success requires more than knowledge. It requires the courage to speak boldly and act decisively. Speaking confidently does not mean shouting or pretending to be someone you are not. It means expressing yourself with certainty. It means believing in your words enough that others believe in them too. People are drawn to leaders, and leadership begins with clear communication. When you walk into a room and speak with confidence, you signal that you are someone to be taken seriously. That signal alone can create opportunities that hesitation will never allow. The challenge is that many people hold themselves back. They hesitate, they second guess, they stay quiet when they should speak up. Inside, they are filled with doubt, telling themselves, what if I sound foolish? What if no one listens? What if I fail? That inner hesitation translates into weak words, soft voices, and missed chances. The truth is, silence guarantees failure. If you say nothing, nothing changes. If you never raise your voice, no one will hear you. If you want to create opportunities, you must overcome that hesitation and speak with conviction. Confidence grows with practice. You don't wait for it to appear, you build it by using it. The more you speak up, the stronger you become. Start today by practicing clarity. When you speak, be direct. Don't circle around your point. Don't drown it in filler. Say what you mean. People respect clarity because it saves time and shows confidence. The clearer you are, the more others will trust you. Equally important is action. Words without action are empty. Confidence is proven by what you do, not just what you say. If you speak boldly about your goals, but never take steps toward them, people lose respect. But when your words align with your actions, credibility grows. Confidence is not about arrogance. It is about consistency. When you follow through on what you say, others learn that your words carry weight. That weight is what creates trust, and trust is what creates opportunity. The air of opportunity you will ever have is connected to someone's perception of you. When you speak with uncertainty, people hesitate. When you speak with confidence, people lean in. Imagine a job interview. Two candidates have the same qualifications. One answers hesitantly, the other answers clearly with conviction. The second candidate wins. The same applies in sales, in leadership, in negotiation, in relationship. Opportunities flow toward those who speak as if they belong at the table. But confidence is not just for big events. It matters in daily life. Every conversation is a chance to build or weaken your image. Every introduction is a chance to open a door. Every time you present yourself, you are either building opportunities or letting them slip. That is why you must practice daily. Stand tall, look people in the eye, and speak with energy. Train yourself to communicate with strength in every setting. Over time, it becomes natural. Many people think confidence is a personality trait, but it is a skill. You develop it by preparation, by practice, and by persistence. If you want to speak with confidence, you must first know your subject. Preparation removes doubt. When you are prepared, you can speak freely without stumbling. That preparation builds certainty inside you, and certainty translates into strong communication. Next is practice. Confidence grows every time you use your voice. Start with small situations. Speak up in meetings. Share your ideas with friends. Introduce yourself to strangers. Each time you speak, you break the habit of silence. And each time you see that nothing terrible happens, your courage grows. Before long, situations that once scared you become normal. Finally, persistence keeps the momentum alive. Confidence is not something you gain once and keep for. It must be reinforced daily. If you stop using it, doubt will creep back in. That's why you must commit to practicing it in every area of life. Consistency transforms confidence from something you occasionally feel into something you permanently own. Remember, opportunities are not given. They are created. You create them by showing up, speaking with strength, and taking action immediately. Too many people talk endlessly but never act. They make promises but never deliver. That behavior destroys trust. If you want to create real opportunities, your words and actions must walk together. Speak boldly, then prove it with decisive steps. That combination makes you unstoppable. Confidence also influences how you see yourself. When you speak with power, you feel powerful. When you take action, you feel capable. Each time you practice this habit, your self-image improves. You begin to see yourself as someone who belongs in the room, someone who deserves success, someone who is capable of more. And the way you see yourself determines how others see you. Think of all the missed chances in your past. Times when you stayed quiet, times when you hesitated, times when you let fear fuel you. Each of those moments was a lost opportunity. But the past does not have to decide the future. Starting today, you can choose differently. You can choose to speak with confidence, to ask clearly, to express boldly, and to act immediately. Every time you do, you increase the odds of creating something new. Confidence also multiplies when combined with persistence. Speaking once may not open the door, but speaking again and again eventually will. Action once may not bring results, but consistent action always builds momentum. If you keep showing up, if you keep expressing yourself with clarity and backing it with action, opportunities will have no choice but to appear. It is also worth noting that people naturally follow those who are certain. In times of uncertainty, a confident voice becomes a leader, even if you are not the most skilled, even if you are not the most experienced. Confidence gives you influence. Influence attracts chances that skill alone cannot. That's why confidence is not optional. It is essential. To build this habit, set a simple goal for today. In one situation where you normally hesitate, choose to speak clearly and with strength. In one area where you normally delay, choose to act directly. Do it once today, then do it again tomorrow. Over time, you will build a lifestyle of confident communication and clear action. That lifestyle will create opportunities faster than you can imagine. Imagine 1 year from now, after speaking with confidence daily and acting without hesitation, you would be a different person. You would attract different people. You would be offered roles, deals, and chances that would never have come to the old version of you. You would stand taller, move faster, and live freer, and all of it would trace back to the decision you made to stop hiding and start expressing. So today, make the commitment. Do not stay quiet when you have something to say. Do not hesitate when you have a chance to act. Speak with confidence. Act with clarity. Create opportunities instead of waiting for them. That is how you rise. That is how you build wealth. That is how you turn potential into reality. When your voice carries strength and your steps carry action, nothing can stop you from reaching the life you desire.
Number 9, demand higher standards today in how you live and work. The life you are living right now is a direct reflection of the standards you have accepted for yourself. If you tolerate low energy, messy habits, weak effort, and excuses, then your results will always mirror those choices. On the other hand, if you raise your standards, if you demand more from yourself in the way you live and work, everything about your life begins to rise with it. Wealth, confidence, influence, and opportunity are not rewards for doing the minimum. They are rewards for living at a higher level than most people are willing to maintain. Every day, people set invisible limits for themselves. They say this is good enough, and they stop trying. They settle for work that's average. They settle for health that's weak. They settle for relationships that drain them. And because their standards are low, their results stay low. It isn't luck or fate keeping them stuck. It's the bar they set for themselves. If you want to grow, if you want to be rich, you must stop settling for good enough and demand better from yourself, starting today. Raising standards begins with the smallest details. How you wake up, how you dress, how you keep your home, how you handle your money, how you approach your work. These details reflect how much you respect yourself. When you demand order, discipline, and quality in the small things, you carry that same energy into the big things. People notice, they sense your discipline, they trust you more, they want to work with you, and opportunities begin to flow towards you. Think of the difference between someone who accepts sloppy work and someone who insists on excellence. The one who tolerates average never stands out. The one who insists on quality, even when no one is watching, builds a reputation that follows them everywhere. Employers want them, clients trust them, partners respect them. That reputation is built by holding yourself to higher standards than the world requires. But raising standards is not just about work. It is also about how you live. If you accept poor health, if you eat whatever is convenient, if you ignore your body, then you limit your energy. Without energy, even the greatest ambition collapses. Demanding higher standards means fueling your body with better food, moving daily, resting properly, and keeping yourself strong. When your body is disciplined, your mind is sharper, your spirit is stronger, and your capacity to achieve expands. High standards also apply to your environment. If you surround yourself with chaos, if your space is cluttered, if your circle of people is filled with negativity, then you absorb that energy. Demand more from your environment. Clean your space. Remove distractions. Choose friends who challenge you, who inspire you, who push you to improve. The people around you reflect your standards. If you raise the standard, you raise the quality of your circle. Another critical area is money. If you tolerate poor financial habits, if you spend recklessly, if you accept being broke, then that becomes your normal. But when you demand higher standards,
You treat your money with respect. You track it. You save it. You invest it. You stop wasting it on things that bring no value. You see each dollar as a tool for freedom, and you refuse to misuse it. That change alone can move you from survival to abundance. Raising standards also requires honesty. You cannot lie to yourself and expect growth. Too many people tell themselves, "I'm doing my best," when they know they are not. They tell themselves, "I don't have time," when time is wasted daily on distraction. They tell themselves, "I'll start tomorrow," when they know tomorrow never comes. Demanding higher standards means facing the truth. It means holding yourself accountable, even when no one else does. It means calling out your own excuses and refusing to accept them anymore. When you raise your standards, you will feel discomfort. Growth always comes with discomfort. The old habits will resist. The old environment will push back. The old friends may not understand, but discomfort is the sign of change. If life feels too easy, it usually means you are settling. If life feels challenging, it often means you are rising. Don't run from the challenge. Embrace it. That is how new levels are reached. One of the most important effects of raising your standards is that it changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who accepts average. You begin to see yourself as someone who expects more. That self-image influences every choice you make. When you see yourself as disciplined, you act disciplined. When you see yourself as strong, you act strong. Identity drives behavior, and behavior drives result. This habit also builds self-respect. When you demand more from yourself and deliver, you gain confidence. You begin to trust your own word. You look at yourself in the mirror and know you are not lying about your effort. That self-respect becomes the foundation of your success. People who lack self-respect sabotage themselves. People who have it build consistently because they believe in their own ability to follow through. Opportunities in life flow to those who stand out, and the easiest way to stand out is to raise your standards above the average. If most people are late, be early. If most do sloppy work, do excellent work. If most people avoid responsibility, step up and take it. This is how leaders are noticed. This is how wealth is attracted, not by luck, but by showing the world that you operate at a higher level. But remember, raising standards is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about refusing to stay where you are. If you commit raising the bar in one area of your life today and another tomorrow, over time, the effect compounds. Soon every area of your life is operating at a level that once felt impossible. That is the power of gradual, disciplined improvement. Imagine where you would be 1 year from now if you raised your standards today. Imagine your work being sharper, your health being stronger, your finances being cleaner, your relationships being healthier. Imagine the confidence you would carry from living at that level. That future is available to you, but only if you stop tolerating the excuses and demand more right now. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, it is standards. Talented people with low standards waste their potential. Average people with high standards outgrow them. If you want wealth, if you want freedom, if you want respect, you must demand higher standards today in how you live and how you work. Raise the bar for yourself and watch as life rises with it. Number 10, teach yourself tonight to delay pleasure and love patience. One of the hardest lessons for most people to learn is that pleasure right now often costs them success later. The craving for quick rewards, easy comfort, and instant satisfaction is what keeps so many trapped in the same cycle of struggle. You see it everywhere. People spend money the moment they get it instead of letting it grow. They quit when results don't show up fast enough. They choose entertainment over education and comfort over discipline. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not luck, but the ability to delay gratification and build a love for patience. Delaying pleasure doesn't mean denying yourself joy. It means learning the wisdom of timing. It means trading short-term thrills for long-term rewards. Every wealthy person understands this. They know that the bigger payoff comes later, not now. They are willing to wait, to build, to plant seeds and water them until they produce abundance. Those who chase instant comfort never give their seeds time to grow. They eat them before they become crops, and then wonder why they stay hungry. Training yourself to delay pleasure starts with awareness. You must notice when your impulses are controlling you. That urge to buy something you don't need, that desire to quit when progress feels slow, that temptation to waste hours instead of building something valuable. Those are tests. In those moments, you either choose the easy path of immediate pleasure or the disciplined path of patience. Each choice adds up. Over time, those choices decide the life you create. Patience is not weakness. It is power under control. It takes strength to wait when every part of you wants the reward now. It takes strength to stay consistent when results are not yet visible. It takes strength to keep saving, to keep learning, to keep building when no one else notices. That strength compounds. The person who trains themselves to delay pleasure becomes unstoppable because nothing can shake their focus. Think about money. If you spend it every time you get it, you stay broke. If you save and invest it, your wealth grows. The difference is not income. It is discipline. The one who delays the pleasure of spending learns to enjoy the growth of their savings, the power of their investments, and the freedom that comes with control. The one who chases spending gets a moment of excitement and years of stress. The choice is clear. Patience also applies to growth. Skills take time to master. Businesses take time to build. Relationships take time to strengthen. Too many people quit because they want results faster than reality allows. They start a new habit, but when they don't see changes in a week, they give up. They start a project, but when it doesn't explode in a month, they stop. Success doesn't work like that. It requires persistence. It requires patience. It requires faith that consistent effort pays off in time. To love patience, you must connect it to pride. Every time you hold back from a short-term temptation, tell yourself, this is me becoming stronger. Celebrate the act of waiting. Celebrate the discipline. Over time, you begin to feel satisfaction, not from giving in, but from holding out. You begin to enjoy patience because you know what it creates. The discipline becomes a reward of its own. One way to build this habit is practicing small delays daily. If you want to buy something, wait a week. If you want to eat something unhealthy, wait an hour. If you want to quit a task, force yourself to finish another 20 minutes. These small acts build the muscle of patience. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes natural. Another way is to focus on vision. When you have a clear picture of where you want to be, waiting becomes easier. You remind yourself, this small sacrifice is part of something bigger. Patience becomes love when it is tied to purpose. If you know that every dollar you save is a step toward freedom, saving feels good. If you know that every hour of practice is building mastery, repetition feels exciting. Patience is not about sitting still. It is about moving steadily toward a bigger future. You must also challenge the culture around you. Society celebrates instant gratification, fast food, quick entertainment, same-day delivery. Everything is built to feed the craving for now. But those who rise above average live differently. They resist the pull of instant comfort. They train their minds to enjoy the wait. They build their happiness not on what they consume today, but on the future they are creating tomorrow. That mindset makes them rare. And rare habits create rare results. Delaying pleasure also builds respect. People trust those who are disciplined. If you can control yourself, others will believe you can handle responsibility. If you are patient, others will want to work with you. If you can sacrifice today for tomorrow, others will see you as reliable. That trust brings opportunities. Impulsive people burn bridges. Disciplined people build them. There is also peace in patience. When you stop chasing every craving, life feels lighter. You stop living in constant reaction. You stop feeling desperate for quick highs. Instead, you live with stability. You feel proud of your choice. You feel in control of your direction. That peace is more valuable than any short-term thrill could ever be. Imagine the difference this one habit could make. If tonight you decide to train yourselves to delay pleasure, everything changes. Your money grows instead of disappearing. Your skills sharpen instead of fading. Your projects succeed instead of dying early. Your confidence grows because you know you can trust yourself, and your life begins to move in a direction that most people only dream about. Wealth is not built it is built in steady steps, day after day. The person who chases quick wins, stays poor. The person who embraces patience grows rich. It is not always exciting, but it is as effective. The sooner you learn to love patience, the sooner your future begins to expand. So tonight, give yourself this lesson. The next time you feel the pull of instant comfort, pause. Ask yourself, will this choice help my future or hurt it? If it hurts, wait. If it helps, train yourself to smile at the wait, to feel proud of restraint, to love the discipline of patience. Over time, this becomes your identity. You stop craving quick fixes. You start craving progress. You start enjoying the slow, steady climb that leads to lasting success. The ones who master this are the ones who win in the long run. They are not distracted by small pleasures because they are focused on big rewards. They not fall for shortcuts because they trust the process. They are not impatient for recognition because they know their time will come. Teach yourself tonight to delay pleasure, and you are teaching yourself the foundation of wealth, freedom, and respect. Once you love patience, there is nothing you cannot build. You've just seen how powerful habits can be, and now the choice is in your hand. You can close this video and slip back into the same routine, or you can take one of these habits tonight and put it into action. Remember this: wealth doesn't wait for someday. It responds to the small, disciplined steps you take right now. Every habit you build either pulls you closer to freedom or keeps you locked where you are. If you're serious about changing your life, start with just one habit today, then another tomorrow, and watch how quickly the momentum builds. This is only the beginning. There are deeper lessons, stronger habits, and bigger opportunities waiting for you if you keep coming back. So don't stop here. Come back for the next video. Challenge yourself again and continue to grow. Because the truth is, your future is built one habit at a time, and yours can start tonight.